Okay. You're at will, Mr.
How long has the supervised parenting time been going on, or the therapeutic parenting time?
About a month.
And
could you scoot up and speak right into that microphone? I'm having trouble hearing you from here, and it could be me, but it's pretty quiet.
My apologies. I'll project a little better.
Thank you.
And currently, what is the therapeutic visitation schedule?
Currently, the therapeutic visitation schedule is 2 hours each week for each parent. Faith has hers on Tuesdays. Mom has hers on Tuesdays. One of the dads on Wednesdays, one of the dads on Thursdays.
And can you share any of your observations from any therapeutic visitations that you've observed or witnessed?
Yes, I have only observed one therapeutic visitation, and it was with Mom this past week, actually. It was a lot. One of the middle children was just not doing well before the visit. It was reported to me by the current placement that he was just being very defiant, and that this pattern of behavior does occur around the time that he visits with his parents. And when he arrived at the visit, he was not any better. He was kicking and screaming. He spat in his mom's face. I mean, he was just inconsolable. And throughout the visit, they all got escalated to some degree. It was mainly one of the middle children and the youngest getting escalated. They were both yelling at their mom that they didn't like her. And it was just out of control. And it was just hard to watch.
Do you have a recommendation as to whether you believe it's best for the children to have visitation suspended right now?
From my own observations before therapeutic visitation, as well as the observations that I've read from the therapist, I do believe that Brene is completely right to suggest that they be suspended, just because of this pattern of behavior where their behavior is escalating around visits. It's not something that's super consistent other than that identified pattern.
Can you elaborate on any concerns that Ms. Moore has shared with you regarding the visitations and why this is her recommendation at this point?
Yes. There has been a number of concerns, particularly with the middle child. In every single report that I received, he has been escalated every single visitation. And this has started to kind of make him unravel outside of it. But Brene has also reported to me that there is sort of a struggle that she's seeing with Mom and keeping all 4 children engaged during visits. Oftentimes, the oldest and one of the middle children are left alone and not really given much attention. Additionally, there has been concerns about Mom talking about adult matters in front of the children and having adult conversations, as well as not being...
Wait, this got insane. After just 1 month of visits, kids were screaming, kicking, and even yelling, "We don't like you," at their own mom. And it's happening every time? The social worker said it's getting worse, and once the visits completely stopped. So now the big question, are these visits harming the kids? What do you think? Like, comment, and subscribe for more shocking cases.
I guess the best terminology would be inappropriate discussion over the therapeutic visitation itself and the matters over the homework and stuff that she receives as a part of therapeutic visitation.
And then there was an evaluation last week, from my understanding, that occurred during Ms. Double's parenting time with one of the children. Can you just elaborate on how that one-on-one evaluation went when it was just the two of them there?
Yes. So one of the middle children had a telehealth evaluation, and we organized it to be conducted with the therapist present before the therapeutic visitation took place, just for ease of transportation and everything. It was reported to me that the child was extremely dysregulated due to the inappropriate conversation that mom was having with the service provider. It was reported that she was talking extremely negatively about that child's father in front of him while he was in the room, and negatively about the matter of this case in front of the child. And the therapist tried to do what she could to move him from that situation, but there wasn't much to do because they were in such an enclosed space, and he had already heard it. And this evaluation was for the child. It was to assess him and evaluate him for autism. And it was reported to me that it devolved into mom talking about herself in the case instead of the child.
I have nothing further.
Questions, Ms. Thomas?
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Simic, do you have an email from Ms. Moore outlining her concerns?
Yes.
Is it with you right now?
Yes.
And is this stack of paper in your seat, is that a copy are there copies?
I have copies with me right now.
Okay. For Ms., Your Honor, I'm not sure how best to do so. I would typically not have this read onto the record, but with Mr. Shealy not being present in person to review it, I don't know how the court would like me to proceed in asking the court to receive it.
Mr. Shealy, I'm going to need to know what's in that email. For these hearings, we are pre-adjudication. The court is monitoring to make sure that the children's services are being, their needs are met, and that the department is meeting their obligations to the children and the family pre-adjudication. The important piece of that is to just remind you that the rules of evidence do not apply. We're sort of moving at a juncture where it's almost emergent in nature. And with the motion on the table to suspend parenting time, I need to have this information in order to make the best decision. I've already decided that Ms. Brene Moore will be the person making the decisions on parenting time. So the question is, do you want this read onto the record, or do you want to lodge any objections to this at this point? What is your position?
I'd just like a copy of it by email.
You can definitely do that, Your Honor.
Very good. Thank you.
Wait, this crossed the line. During a child's evaluation, the mom started attacking the father in front of him and turned the session about herself. The child became overwhelmed and couldn't even continue. Now the judge says it's urgent and may stop visits completely. What do you think? Like and subscribe for more.
Ms. Berger?
I'd just like to see it.
All right. Do you have all the copies?
Yes.
All right. Deputies, would you mind grabbing those copies from Ms. Simic and passing them on to the attorneys that are here? Ms. Thomas, do you have the ability to, do you have this email?
I believe it's buried within a body of emails. So
I can send it to real quick.
Thank you. All right. So you'll be looking for an email from Ms. Berger, Mr. Shealy.
Thank you.
Very good. Okay. So Mr. Howard, it's up to you. If you'd like to have this read into the record, I am receiving it as an exhibit.
I would not like it read into the record.
All right, very well. So we'll take a moment then for the attorneys to consider this, especially Ms. Berger. Do you have any other questions for this witness, Ms. Thomas?
Yes, if I may, Your Honor. Okay, Ms. Dimick, the letter that we're all reading and now receiving, thank you for bringing that. Was this did this help formulate your opinion, or is this simply a summary of the conversations that you've had with Ms. Moore?
It's an accumulation of conversations that we've been having.
Okay. And I know that Mr. Howitt has already spoke to this point, but have you been able to speak with Ms. Abbott, who completed the trauma assessments with the children?
Yes, I was actually present for 3 of the 4 trauma assessments.
Okay. And is there anything that you and Ms. Abbott have discussed that would differ from what Mr. Howitt has already shared?
No.
Okay. With that, Your Honor, I have no further questions. Thank you.
Are you ready for questions, Ms. Berger?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Go ahead. I'm sorry, what's your last name again?
Dimick.
Dimick. Okay. Ms. Dimick, were you there for the alleged adult conversation between my client and Ms. Moore?
One of them, yes.
The one that is indicated in the letter or the email?
I believe so.
Okay. And was she in response to an answer to a question that was asked for the assessment?
Can you
Sure.
repeat the question?
Was that during an autism assessment?
The adult conversation?
Yes.
No.
Okay, when was that?
That was this last Tuesday at the parent visitation.
And there was no other assessment or anything there?
On Tuesday, no.
Was there a concern about interactions as it relates to the autism assessment?
Yes.
Okay, and did the assessor ask if this child has experienced any trauma?
I'm not fully aware of what happened during the autism assessment.
Okay, were you there for that?
No.
Okay.
Wait, this just escalated. The judge accepted a key email as evidence, and witnesses confirmed ongoing concerns and trauma reports that all point the same way. Now both sides are arguing, but the answers are getting more serious, and the court is clearly not happy. What happens next? Like and subscribe for more courtroom drama.
And you've only observed one parenting time?
One therapeutic parenting time.
Okay. And the children don't, to the best of your knowledge, they don't exhibit any behaviors outside of these therapeutic parenting times?
They do surrounding them.
What does that mean?
They're very hard to re-regulate after parenting times, and oftentimes they show extremely defiant behavior before getting in the car. They don't want to go.
Have they said they don't want to go?
Yes.
All of them?
Especially the middle child, who has been showing a lot of behaviors, has explicitly said that to me.
Do the children receive individual counseling outside of therapeutic parenting time with mom?
They're currently referred for CMH and will start services next week.
When was that referral sent?
That referral was sent, I believe, last week. And the oldest is currently in individual counseling, sorry.
So the petition was filed almost 2 months ago, is that right?
Correct.
So what took so long to get referrals for individual counseling set out?
There was a lot of focus on wanting the trauma assessments done to look over their recommendations.
Over whose recommendation? I'm sorry.
The trauma assessors.
Okay. And couldn't it be possible that the children are exhibiting behaviors because of the situation?
What situation?
Court involvement, your involvement, you know, all of our involvement.
Possibly.
So we don't know for sure if there's a behavior that's being exhibited because of mom. It could just be because there's, you know, court involvement again.
I can't answer that.
So there's no way of knowing, right?
Potentially, yeah.
No other questions, thank you.
Any questions, Ms. Stang?
Just briefly, have you had an opportunity to discuss the issue of the children's behaviors and what's been occurring with regards to Mr. Doobie recently?
Yes.
Okay, are you aware of if he has an opinion on mother's visits with the children?
He does have an opinion, yes.
And what is his opinion that you've been informed of?
I was informed that he does great with the children, but he did see during one of his children's trauma assessments that, I mean, he was just extremely dysregulated from his interactions with mom. So he believes that there is a negative connotation to those visits.
Okay, I have nothing further, thank you.
Mr. Shealy, did you have any questions?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Howard? Redirect?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Frost?
No, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor.
All right, thank you for your testimony. You may return to your seat. Anyone else you'd like us to hear from, Mr. Howard?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Thomas?
No, Your Honor.
Bye-bye, Your Honor.
Very good.
Wait, this just escalated. Kids are reportedly refusing visits, getting extremely distressed before and after, and even showing serious emotional reactions. The court is now questioning whether it's the mom or just the case itself, but nothing is clear yet. So the big question, what's really hurting these kids? Like and subscribe for more.